What's up, y'all? It's KB, and I love movies. Tonight, we are joined by one of my favorite TV slash movie reviewers that I follow on IG and also YouTube. He's actually one of the few people that got me to hang out and watch his 24-hour movie marathon. Um, if you've ever checked in with him just to say hey or seen some of his collection, you already know who it is. We got my man AJReacts in the house,
What
fellow
is
YouTuber,
what is going
movie,
on?
TV, physical media collector. It's Blu-ray, 4K, DVD, VHS, books, vinyl,
Hey,
video
yes sir,
games.
yes
Did I
sir,
cover
yes sir.
everything?
Yeah,
Did I cover everything?
yeah, books and all that kind of
Yeah,
stuff.
it's
Yeah, man.
amazing.
I'm a heavy collector. But yeah, KB, thank you for having me on, man. I'm a fan of yours, and let's get into
Appreciate
this
you.
thing. I'm
Appreciate
ready.
you. Personally, we want to thank everyone for joining us. If this is your first time
Mhm.
here, welcome. If not, welcome back. We already got some people hopping in the chat, so we're going to check in with them. Let's see who's here to get us started tonight. Of course, we have my man, and this is why I asked what the AJ stand for. We got another AJ with us, Agent James. What's going on, my
Nice.
man? We got Brother Dell in the house. They came in early. We got Jerry in the house. What's up? What's
Jerry,
up?
Jerry.
Still, we're still happy off of our Giants winning on Sunday, so you got to give us some room. We got Holland Oates saying what's up. We got
Hall and
Michael in the
Oates.
house. Hello, hello. Who else we got in here? Geriatric Geek. He says, I'm really enjoying the conversation videos. Keep them coming. Thank you. Thank you. I really appreciate it. I enjoy doing this because it gives me a chance to reach out to people like AJ, get to know them a little better. Like I've said before, sometimes I'm watching your videos and man, I'll be like, I wonder, or I'll have a question or something. And you know me, sometimes I'll just pop in the chat and be like, yo, but
Hmm.
sometimes the conversation's a better place for it. So we're gonna get
Yes,
into
sir.
it. My
Hmm.
man Trini, what's up, brethren?
Going on, Trini.
Me and him got a similar background when it comes to the whole thing. So he's always
Nice.
a good dude. Good dude. The way we always do this is we start with a non-movie question, then we get into the movie stuff, and solid with the five takes. So, for the uninitiated, my non-movie question, please explain the goodness of Haley Williams and the group that is Paramore to those that don't know.
Oh man. If you know me, you
Mm-hmm.
know that I am a huge Paramore fan. I love Haley Williams, Paramore, the group itself.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I think it started in high school. I was going through some things, and one of Paramore's music videos came on to the TV, like one of the the music video channels, VH1 or MTV or something like that. And I
Yeah,
was like, "Yo, they got a nice sound to them,"
they're
And then I
different.
started diving. Yeah, it's different. I started diving into some of their other music, and I was like, "Yo, this is really dope."
Mm-hmm.
And you know, listening to Paramore really got me through some hardships, some hard times. And
Yeah,
when you can go to something and actually, feel better about life, about situations. It goes for movies too. There's some
mm-hmm.
movies out there that make me feel that way. Some comfort TV shows. I'm feeling down. Let me put this on, or let me, listen to this. And Paramore has been there for a very long time now. So, and
Yeah.
they're dropping some new music, and a new album is coming out in February. I am pumped for that. But
Me too. Me too.
yeah, they're awesome, and
Yeah.
I'll die on that hill. I love Paramore.
I,
Number
I'm
one,
gonna be
number
on it
one
with
band.
you. I'm gonna
Yeah,
be on it with you. I think Misery Business was probably when that was like their first early hit, and
that
then
was
it's
one of their. I want to say that is their biggest
mm-hmm.
from when they started.
Yeah,
Now people lean towards Still Into You and Ain't It
yeah,
Fun. But Misery Business hit it big. It is
Yeah.
one of the greatest rock songs ever made. If people want to acknowledge that or not, it is. It's great. So,
Yeah. That whole
another
album,
one.
man.
Yeah, that whole
Riot
album is
is
great.
awesome.
Another one of the pretty big tracks on that album is "That's What You Get," and I feel like "That's What You Get" is a song that a lot of people have heard, but they don't know, who sings it. I showed
Yeah.
my buddy Tyler. He recently got into Paramore because of my suggestions. He was like,
Yeah.
"Yo, I have heard this song so many times. I just never knew who sang it." I was like, "Yep, that's him.
And
That's
she's a
him."
good follow on IG too. Like it was like about a month or two ago, she just hopped on her story and was singing Erica Badu while doing laundry or something like
Yeah,
that. I was like, who is this girl? I love her.
yeah,
She's
yeah.
awesome. Let's see. Anybody else hop in the chat since? We got Emmett here. Boom.
Emmett,
What's
what's
up?
going on?
Ooh, Dell. I just watched Shop Around the Corner for the first time. It's no Red Riot BB gun, but it was cool. Him and this Christmas story, man. I don't know. We're not gonna get into the Christmas movie talk, but you got
Oh.
one that's nostalgic for you that, another hill to die on as far as Christmas movies?
As far as nostalgia, I'll
Mm-hmm.
say Elf. That is probably the most nostalgic Christmas movie.
Yeah.
When I watched Elf, my mind was blown. It was hilarious to me. It was sentimental. It was funny. I laughed. I cried. And I was like, "What is this?"
Yep.
Yes, it's goofy. I get it. If it doesn't fit your type of humor, I understand. But for
Mm-hmm.
me personally, it hits. so,
Yeah.
so Elf
And funny
is
enough,
a nostalgic film.
we're talking about Paramore. Both Paramore and Elf, the people who got me into it were my kids. Like
Oh,
that was
nice.
their Christmas quotable movie. So
Hmm.
it kind of grew up with them. And
Hmm.
then the same thing, we got into Paramore, listening to it and playing it on Guitar Hero of all things.
Oh, nice, nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, all it takes is like one song to introduce you to a group, and then you go from there.
Mhm.
So yeah,
It
see, we're not
blossoms.
alone. Love Elf. There you
Yes,
go.
Elf
Showing some
is
love.
great. I just picked up the 4K about a month ago,
Hmm.
and it looks pretty good. The
Yeah,
sound is great though.
yeah. I
The I wish the visuals were a little bit better, but it's still a good pickup.
I was about to say it has to be an improvement on the Blu-ray because that was kind of flat.
I actually have never seen the Blu-ray. I only had the DVD,
The
so I
DVD,
upgraded.
which
Yeah,
was good.
yeah,
I
yeah.
rocked that DVD for years, man.
Mhm.
Years.
Yep,
By the
and it had
way,
the 2 discs, the
hmm
widescreen and the full screen
yep.
discs.
For those of you
Hilarious.
that don't know, you're going to get a lot of mini reviews here tonight because
Right.
that's just the lane that we're going to stay in for most of the night. So I ain't even apologizing. I'm just letting people know.
That's a heads
Yep.
up.
Emmett's starting us off with the question, so I'm just going to hop to his. He says, "What's your thoughts on the movie Malcolm X?" And I'll add to that, if you copped the Criterion, what did you think of the Criterion
I have
4K?
not picked it up, and I have
Okay.
actually not seen the film. That's one
Hmm.
that I definitely need to check out.
Okay. So this is alluding to a question I'll get into later.
Mhm,
Is that
mhm.
going to be on your top 100 missed?
Mm, don't know. I don't know.
Hmm.
I have a list for next year,
Yeah.
which my 100 movies list. Don't even get me started on that because I have been slacking on
We
my
got to
100
talk
movies
about it.
list. I am on like film 50,
Hmm.
and we're in December, so I know I'm not gonna be able to catch up. But
Yeah.
the reviews that I put out, I think I put out about 30 for the
Solid.
year. I don't know. I'd really been slacking, and I have a little bit of an excuse. I went back to school, and
Good
I've
for
been
you.
trying to catch up with homework and stuff like that. So I have a little bit of an excuse, but yeah, I am planning on finishing that up early in the year next year.
I say
And
school is a
Malcolm X,
priority.
I can't remember if Malcolm X is on my next 100 movies list. But it's definitely on a watch list. I definitely need
Yeah.
to check it out.
You just set aside some time. That's all I'll tell you.
Yeah, for
We
sure.
got Jared checking in. What's going
Jared,
on?
what's going on, man?
We got Ryan from the Disconnected. Long time no see. I popped by his house today earlier.
Oh,
What's up, man?
nice.
Yes, if you're into Spike Lee, you should see Malcolm X, and Clockers is good as well. Good recommendations, Michael.
Spike Lee. I have
Mhm.
a love, not I wouldn't even say a hate relationship, but I have a love decent relationship with Spike Lee. I appreciate Spike Lee's vision for his
Mhm.
films, and his style can be compelling a lot of the time, but sometimes I think he gets a little ahead of himself, but that's personally. I know a lot of people love his films a lot, and I'm
Mhm.
not speaking on anybody else's thoughts on it, but um, yeah, I think he gets a little ahead of himself with his narrative sometimes, and it doesn't resonate with me as well as I would want it to because
Yeah.
of how on the nose he is so much. Um,
Yeah.
and I did
It
check
is.
out I did check out one of his series.
Mhm.
She's Gotta Have It is based on the film. And
Yeah.
I enjoyed it for the most part. And I really loved the style and the
Yeah.
cinematography of the
It
series.
builds so much from the original feature film. So
Hmm.
I would counter that to say that it's interesting to look at those future kind of outlooks and pinpoint, and then come back like 10, 20 years later and see if and how they hit. Because like
Hmm.
the things that he was talking about in Do the Right Thing really hits right now.
It
You know what I'm
does.
saying?
Yeah. Do the Right Thing
Check.
is one of his best
Yeah.
that I've seen
We
personally.
we got Mika on the check-in.
Because
What's up?
what's going on?
Somebody else saying Clockers is good.
Not seen Clockers.
Yeah, something to add to the list. Getting back into the questions, I think one of the first times I saw you, like a lot of people, was on 4K D-Ray's movie collection battle.
Okay.
Um, and I think I enjoyed that most besides the 24-hour movie marathon. That was just fun. That was fun.
Yeah.
But what gave you the idea to do the marathon now? What, twice now you've done it?
I did. I've done it twice. I don't know
Uh-huh.
if I'm ever gonna do it again. Not that length.
So that's
I
the
proved to
aftermath.
everyone, hey, I could do it. So maybe I'll do like a 12-hour, maybe like a 6-hour,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
24, whoo,
It's rough.
it's
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 rough.
it's a little tough. I ain't gonna lie.
How did you feel like afterwards, especially the first time, because you don't know what to expect afterwards?
The first time I was nervous, I
Mm-hmm.
was excited, I was just like, is this, am I gonna be able to stay awake for this long? Like,
Mm-hmm.
my gosh. But each time it was a fun experience, and it was always really cool to see people check in the chat, come and be like, hey, how you doing, how you awake, like that.
Yeah,
I'm
I
like,
think I checked
yeah.
in like 3:30. Like I
Yeah,
woke up and I was like, "Is he still awake?" And I
yeah.
I logged
What's
in and you were just staring.
Yeah, I mean, and what's funny is I got a lot of traffic at around like midnight. I did midnight to midnight, and I would get
Mm-hmm.
a lot of traffic when I started, and like up until like 3 o'clock, people would stay up with me till about 3 o'clock, and then they're like, "Yeah, I gotta go to bed." So around
Mm-hmm.
4, 5, 6 is a little slow, with the interaction. Yeah,
Yep.
yeah, people head to work and all that. I get it. I
Yeah,
didn't
yeah.
expect anybody to sit there and watch all 24 hours. So
Couldn't do
nah,
it.
but like I invited everyone to come check in. You can
Mm-hmm.
watch a movie with me, one or two. And some people did. They put on their copy of the
Yeah,
film and sat there and watched it with me, and it's always really fun.
yeah,
It's always really
yeah.
fun doing that. But I think I'm gonna keep them a little bit shorter in the future.
You've done your time, so you could like scale
yeah.
it back a
I
little
did
bit.
48 hours. Yeah.
I know. It's crazy.
So, yeah, I know.
I spoke about the movie collection battles. How many have you done, and what's your record now?
I've done 3,
Uh-huh.
and I have lost 1.
So what's your favorite battle that you've done against who?
I would say my first one probably was my favorite just because I battled one of my good friends, Ken,
Mm-hmm.
Ken from Mid-Level Media. And
Yeah.
that was fun. And I can't believe that I beat him because his collection is so huge. But with those battles, it's more about the selection than the actual size of your collection.
Mm-hmm.
So, you just got to pick the right ones with the people, want to see, and that's the thing. It doesn't necessarily go off of what you love or what you think the people on the panel will love. It's all
Mm-hmm.
about the chat. It's
Yep.
all about the chat.
Yep.
Hmm.
We've had some past comments on that in previous conversations, and
Hmm.
people were like, "This person should have won over that," but really, it's how the chat reacts. And
Yeah,
I mean, there is some favoritism to it sometimes, but
it can be, but
yeah,
I think
yeah,
for the most part, it is pretty fair. Sometimes my wife will actually get on the comments. I'm like, do not, if you don't think that, if I'm not your choice, don't pick me. So sometimes she would
hmm
choose the other person. I said, be fair.
right,
So,
right. And it's human nature. Sometimes I'm rooting for somebody that I know, but I'm like,
mhm.
mm,
Yeah,
but
I
theirs is
gotta pick
better.
that one. Yeah, I
Yeah,
gotta
theirs
pick
is
that
better.
one. And I get that. I wouldn't ask anybody to do, lean towards mine if you think the other one is better. Be truthful.
hmm I think I have an idea what the answer is for the next one, but I'll ask you anyway. What's your favorite genre of movie?
Hmm. Favorite genre. That's a hard question. That's hard for me to
Hmm
answer because I really enjoy horror a lot.
Yeah.
That I might have to say horror, but I also enjoy action a lot. I enjoy drama a lot. Surprisingly, I like dramas a lot.
hmm
Romances are okay. I get into romance films. That my wife, has me watch romance films, but I get into them. I love a good mystery film.
hmm Me too.
But I'm gonna probably say horror. I'm gonna go with horror on that one.
I really thought you'd have picked anime.
Oh, I need to get into a lot more anime films. Okay, listen, I love anime series, but when it
Yeah,
comes to the
it's
films,
different
like
in movies. Yeah.
I need to dive into that genre a lot more because and like foreign films too, Korean cinema and
hmm
things like that because I've heard there are some bangers. I
There are.
just have not gotten into them as much as I want to. So
Yeah.
anime, I would say I would take the series over the films, but there are some
Okay.
anime films that I love, like Akira. I love Akira.
Me too.
Um, I really enjoyed Your Name a lot. I enjoyed. There was a couple anime films that came out this year that I saw in the theater, and they're both based on TV series, the Dragon Ball Super film
hmm
and the Jujutsu Kaisen film came out this year, and I checked those out and I really enjoyed them. But yeah, like I said, it's really the anime series that I get into, man.
Yeah. Well,
Hmm.
you know what? That's perfect timing because we have a guest question, and I
Okay.
think you'll get the connection here.
Okay.
AJ, KB, happy holidays to you guys. Thank you for having me up here. But my question to you, AJ, is with anime making it into theaters more often now, what is one property you would love to see become a live action film?
Mm. D-Ray in the building. That's a great question. I feel like I've thought about this. and I know there's a series. The series My Hero Academia is coming to Netflix. I guess they're making a live action My Hero Academia. Don't know how to feel about it yet. But that's a great question. I don't know, man. I might have to come back to that one. I think
that might be the follow-up.
Okay. No, I got one. I got one.
Yes.
There is a Studio Ghibli film called The Grave of the Fireflies. I loved that movie so much, and it doesn't really get recognized as Studio Ghibli as much as, you know, some of the other ones like Spirited Away or My Neighbor Totoro or things like that. But yeah, Grave of the Fireflies, man. If that was a live action film, I think it would do great because it doesn't really suspend your imagination that much. I feel like there are a lot of, you know, anime to live action adaptations that just don't work because anime is so specific in its style and, you know, how it's presented to where it doesn't really translate that well into live action. But this film, the Shyamalan,
I know.
Shyamalan.
We're not going there.
But you know, there is a Netflix series coming out that's live action, so I don't know, man. I don't know if it's gonna be any good. But Shyamalan, he did his best, I guess.
Yeah.
But
I think it would have been better if he was more familiar with the property.
I agree. If he would have known like the nuances and the intricacies of the series, I think he would have been able to pull it off a lot more than he did.
Yeah.
But
they already messed up Death Note twice for me. That's one of the few anime series that I absolutely loved.
I started. Yeah, you saw the Netflix film? I started it. I watched like 5 minutes of it. I said, "Yo, it ain't
not
for me."
move.
It's not the move. It's not the move. But I do plan on getting to that series. I know it's pretty short, so I haven't seen any of the series. I don't know why I decided just to put on the movie, but but I know what
it's a lot better than the movie. That's all.
Yeah, I imagine so. But yeah, I've seen you know clips of the show, and I know what the show is, and that is one that I need to get into. But yeah, like I was saying, Grave of the Fireflies, I think would be a great adaptation because it doesn't really suspend your animation or your imagination, and it's very dramatic. And I think if they got the right actors, it would be phenomenal. It would be a phenomenal film. I personally love Train to Busan. That's an amazing film, and it has so many elements to Grave of the Firefly. Yeah,
it's very dramatic. Drama. Yeah.
Yes, it's very dramatic. I feel like it has a lot of elements that Grave of the Fireflies could have if it was brought to a live action adaptation.
Yeah, true. Before we go any further, I gotta say shout out to my man, the Monkey. He's been doing little intros for me, and he kind of hopped in late, so I just want to pop up his intro because it's kind of funny. He says, "Greetings, one and all. The reactor that trumps them all is S stands for super, as he's super flying a whole different space than others who attempt it." He really gets into this. The most relevant reactor we know, the one and only A to the J to the react, and don't forget the X.
Nice. I love it.
Very nice.
I love it. Thank you.
What's up, Tony? We had fun last night. I'm not getting into the Meatloaf Tony thing. I'm just gonna call him Tony. Emmett, what's Final Destination really horror movie anthology?
It's not. That was a question in the physical media battle, and it was, what is your favorite like horror anthology? And I couldn't think of a horror anthology that I own. Like everybody says, oh, Trick or Treat, Trick or Treat. I don't own Trick or Treat. So I didn't want to just come up empty handed. So I said Final Destination. It's semi anthology, not really, but it's kind of anthology because there's different characters pretty much in every film. That's my thought process behind it. But yeah. It's not really a horror anthology. I just didn't want to show up empty-handed.
They remember.
I know, yeah. The other person came up with the Resident Evil series, so I feel like mine was a little bit better of an anthology than the Resident Evil series because that's the same characters each time.
Yeah. Do you enjoy comedies?
Comedies, I do. I enjoy comedies. It's not my favorite genre because they can be very hit or miss for me. But I do enjoy a comedy here and there. I love Step Brothers. That's probably my favorite comedy of all time. I love Hangover. Some of the, kind of some of those raunchy comedies, and then stuff like Nacho Libre, just really goofy slapstick. I love it. Napoleon Dynamite, kind of dry humor there. Yeah, I enjoy some comedies.
I know that lane. Dragon Ball Superhero was okay for me, Jared says.
Okay, Dragon Ball Superhero. Yeah, Dragon Ball Superhero was a good film. It just wasn't what I was expecting. And if you follow Dragon Ball Super or Dragon Ball Z or anything like that, you go to you watch the film for a specific reason and to see a specific person. That specific person was not in the film very much. So I could see how people were disappointed with it. But what happened in the actual film was awesome. But it felt like a side story, more of a side story than, like a main story.
I get where you come from. I know that much.
Yeah, it did.
Plenty money.
It did. It did. It was
Michael says, saw Grave of the Fireflies. It was first intended as a live action movie, but the Fireflies were too difficult to direct, so animation was easier. I think that's what will fall into line with a lot of, like you were saying, animated movies and the difficulty to translate them to live action. Certain things, certain fantastical things that we have in anime doesn't really translate to live action. Even with all the CGI in the world, it's not the same. There's something about something being shown as animation that doesn't necessarily translate to live action.
Yeah, I agree.
For me, will be a Black Lagoon live action adaptation. That'd be interesting. Mr. Rigby in the house, finally watching the show live. Welcome. Yeah, did you hear this? Please don't do that.
I heard it.
Do not do that.
It's not really on my radar. I'm sure I'll probably see it on streaming. I probably won't see it in the theater. But, hey, it's, US tries to get a hold of everything. I think they're making a Squid Game US version too.
Don't do that either.
You
ever seen the British series, The IT Crowd?
Yes, actually,
and they did an American version of that.
I did not know that.
Terrible. It was on and off just as quickly.
Really?
Like, as I snap my finger, that's how long it lasted on TV.
That's probably why I haven't heard of the American version.
Hot trash. What were you about to say?
I was just gonna say, my mother-in-law was watching early. I was over her house, and she was watching the IT Crowd earlier today. So that's pretty funny that got brought up.
I love that show. Train to Busan is amazing. I got that Blu-ray steel book with the book.
Yeah, I do too. That's so dope. That.
Best anime
4K.
Best anime for me is Monster. Would be amazing to see a live action version. Not familiar with that one. Do you know that one?
Okay. I don't know that one.
Good one, Del.
I could see that.
I could see that too. Definitely.
I can see that. I actually just bought this movie on Blu-ray not too long ago. Yeah.
One of the steel books or the
No,
regular?
I wish, but no, I just got the Blu-ray with the slipcover. Someone did
Right
send
on.
me the Kiki's delivery service steelbook though for my
Yeah.
birthday. So
I think Target had them on sale for like a quick minute, but they
no,
sold out quick in this area.
man, they sell out so quickly.
Yeah.
They do.
AJ invests heavy in Criterion Collection, his film school in a box, also Alfred Hitchcock Universal Monsters. Sir James Brown said so.
Right. I have some Hitchcock. I have the first version of the Universal Monster 4Ks, and I do have a few Criterion. I have like maybe 6 Criterion. I do plan on bulking that collection up a little bit more, but the collection doesn't have a lot of the films that I'm interested in. Some of the films, yes, I am interested in them, but you know, I don't want to buy movies that I'm not gonna watch. You know.
Yeah, not buying just to buy something.
Yeah.
Just going back, you mentioned probably horror as your favorite
Mm-hmm.
genre.
Mm-hmm.
So as we approach, my God, this year is over. As we approach the end of the year, what's been your favorite horror release of the year, and then movie overall?
This might shock some people. This might make some people log off, but
We don't care.
but I loved Bodies. That was my favorite horror film of the year. I know it's a hot take, but I enjoyed it a lot.
I still need to watch that. I mentioned last month that I'm going to start a new segment called So I Watch That Thing, where people tell me this movie's good. You know, I get a lot of recommendations during these conversations. Or it could be a situation like you. I'm on your Instagram and you're posting your letterbox, and I see those 5 green stars, and I'm like, what is he talking about?
Yeah,
everybody hates this movie.
I know. I got some hot takes, you know.
I know you do. That's why you're here.
Yeah.
That's why you're here. So I'm going to watch that just for you.
Okay.
So we could get back on.
I won't promise that you'll like it, but I did.
See, we're going to talk about it.
Mika,
yeah.
I see Mika.
And we were talking about this the other night. She likes everything. If she
loves
doesn't
horror.
like a movie, she won't discredit it. But see what she says immediately afterwards.
Yeah, she might try
to try. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe try to rewatch it. Maybe your thoughts will change. It's not exactly what it seems to be. So
yeah,
keep that in mind.
So what about overall favorite movie?
I'm gonna have to go with the Batman. That's my number 1 of the year. Yeah, the Batman. I've seen that movie 7 times this year. So
5.
5, yeah. It's
2
fantastic.
2 at home, 3 in the theater.
I saw it 3 times in the theater as well.
Yeah, I just have to see it again. I saw it in Dolby IMAX, Dolby.
Ooh, nice.
And I just have to see it in Dolby again because that scene with the Batmobile, my lord.
Oh.
And we got the tactile responders on each individual seat in Dolby. So you hear it off camera before you see it. And the rumbling starts. Woo.
Yes, sir. That film is great. I also loved Top Gun Maverick.
Same here.
It's a great film.
That's mine.
I haven't really met a lot of people that didn't like Top Gun Maverick. I've seen some folks give it 3.5. You know, it's nothing special, but for the most part, people loved it, and as did I.
We're still on the bodies.
Yeah, people didn't care for it. It's a very divisive film. So I guess I'll see what you think of it when you watch it.
I'm just gonna go through these.
Dang.
Oh, look at that, Brother Dell liked it. So well enough. That's like the North Carolina way of saying it was all right. I'm not gonna give it too much props.
It was all right. Yeah.
Ooh, hot takes. That's what we're talking about. We want some hot takes.
Ooh, Jared. He says the Batman is a little bit overrated. Um,
Mm.
I
And
respect
Michael
your
agrees.
opinion. I respect you.
Mm.
Oh, okay, Michael.
Okay. Uh-oh. Dell is doubling down now.
Okay.
That's a hot
Bodies
take.
is better than Barbarian.
That's a hot
I
take.
would agree with that, but I enjoyed Barbarian a lot as well.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Oh man. So since we're looking for hot takes,
hmm
because
I
I am
got
at this
some
point.
in my arsenal.
I know you
Um,
do.
I
So
don't
I
want too
need you.
many people to log off though, you know?
No. They're in for the ride, if anything, just to like flame. But
Yeah.
all right. I hate these random top 5 questions, but I'm gonna hit you with them.
Okay.
Top 5 MCU.
Top 5 MCU.
Mm-hmm.
These are gonna be some hot takes, but I'm gonna look at my list. I'm gonna
All
look at
right.
my list real quick. Just so I don't get any of them wrong. And I have seen all of them.
Mm-hmm.
So starting at number 5. Oh, number 5 is already a hot take.
Go.
Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness.
That is
I
a hot take.
absolutely loved that movie.
Mm-hmm.
I thought Scarlet Witch was a fantastic villain. Spoiler alert. I'm sorry if you haven't seen the film, but
Mm-hmm.
she was a fantastic villain. And yeah, I loved Multiverse of Madness.
Okay.
4 is going to be Guardians of the Galaxy. I feel like that's not as much of a hot take. I know people really enjoy that one.
Yeah.
But number 3,
Uh-oh.
Eternals.
You too? You and Jay Stu with that?
Yeah, Eternals, man. I absolutely loved it. I'm sorry,
Okay.
you know.
Okay. I'm waiting for these
And
comments to light up.
yeah, I know I'm gonna get hit with number 5 and number 3.
Mm-hmm.
But 2 and 1 aren't too far off. 2, Civil War, Captain
Okay.
America Civil War.
Mm-hmm.
And number 1, Avengers Infinity War.
Yeah. Yeah.
So those are 2 great ones.
Yeah. I found it's either people like rock with Civil War. Here goes my dog because my daughter's walking in. It's either Civil War or Winter Soldier that people hold in that really high stream.
It's Civil War for me.
Yeah.
Mr. Rigby. I knew it was
What do you have
coming.
to say? Yeah. Yeah.
I knew it was coming. I knew
Man. Since I mentioned his name, we do have another guest question for you.
Okay.
You know, your people have to represent for you.
What's going on, KB? What's going on, AJ? I would like to submit a question for AJ. And that question is, what movie surprised you the most, as far as your expectation and the result being on completely opposite ends of the spectrum? That could be good or bad. So yeah, what movie surprised you the most?
That's my boy, John. That's
Yes,
my
sir.
boy, OJ still.
Jay Stu.
He goes by John. And are we talking this year? Or are we just talking period or
Overall, because I know you've been
overall?
going back a lot.
Something that I thought wasn't going to be good at all, it turned out to be great, or something that I really looked forward to being great and it wasn't good at all. I guess I'll start with one of this year's, because there's a movie that comes to mind. Fresh. It is a Hulu original film that I just did not feel like it was gonna be. You know, I thought it was just gonna be like one of those Hulu films that were just, you know, whatever. And I ended up really enjoying it. Sebastian Stan put on a stellar performance.
He's so good.
And he's good. He's really good. And pretty much every role that I've seen him in that's not Winter Soldier, I like more than the Winter Soldier, which is crazy.
Does that include Tommy Lee?
I have not seen the series. I have not seen
Okay.
Tommy and Pam
I know you get
Theory.
into the TV, so
I
I don't know if
know
you caught that.
I haven't checked it out. It's on my list, but I haven't checked it out yet.
Mm-hmm.
But from what I've seen, in the trailers, I was like, yo, he looks like he's putting on a great performance.
Yeah.
So, yeah, he was in Devil All the Time. It was a Netflix original film, and he was great in that. Fresh, he was really good in. So, I guess I'm gonna have to go with Fresh because that's right on the top of my mind. And I rewatched it yesterday. So
yeah, Fresh is a good one. One of my favorites of 2022.
that's a really good one.
Very pleasant surprise. Good call.
Mm-hmm.
We got the 4K King in the house. Not Okay is a pretty good Hulu film.
Okay.
Fresh is good if you do a double feature with Raw. Have you seen that?
I haven't seen Raw.
Check that out.
Okay.
That movie's bonkers.
I'm familiar with it, but I just haven't seen it. It's the same. It's the same director as Titan, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
I have seen Titan.
Another bonkers movie.
Yeah, it's wild. It's wild to say the least. But yeah, Raw. I will add it to my list.
Yeah. I'm going to double back in the chat. Yeah, you and I both. Because I saw my man Eddie from Eddie's Film and Stuff hop in there. He's going to be on the conversation tomorrow. We're going to keep the party going with Eddie from Eddie's Films and Stuff. Just joining in time to stream, getting spicy with the hot takes. Yes, sir.
Yeah,
yes,
those
sir.
hot takes, man. What's wrong with AJ? He's off.
Sir James Brown declares Christopher Nolan's Batman are the best, and 89. Everybody got their favorite Batman. For the longest time, it was Keaton. I really enjoyed the Nolan trilogy, kind of like as its own thing. But individually, it's so hard because, like, forget Clark Kent Superman thing, but Batman and Bruce Wayne are such anomalies onto their own. And it's hard to get an actor who could do Batman well and then Bruce Wayne well. And we normally get one of each. Like the biggest criticism I have of the Batman is that Ropat played like a super emo.
That's probably my biggest flaw. I wouldn't even say flaw, but the thing that bothered me the most about the film. And I could have even seen him be, kind of emo at the beginning, but had a little bit more of an arc as Bruce Wayne. And it would have resonated with me better. But I just love the movie so much. It just like whatever. You can be however you want to be.
We didn't see a lot of Bruce Wayne in that movie anyway.
We didn't. And yeah.
What's up, Roger?
Fellow Encanto fan. Yes, I love Encanto.
I don't watch it enough. I'd really like to find that Steelbook. I missed out on that. I think I caught it when it finally went on Disney Plus. Tried watching Eternals 3 times, couldn't finish it. Too boring. I'm not riding for this. I'm not caping up, but I'm saying it's a complete movie. It's a complete movie. That's all I'll say. So you can't look at it like you're watching Black Panther or Iron Man or whatever. It's like its own separate thing.
It's different. It's different. It's not gonna be for everybody. My wife, we tried watching it 3 times and she fell asleep as well. So I just figured she's not into it. She's not gonna be into it. It's all right. I love it.
Sir James Brown declares he likes Sam Raimi though. So he likes the madness.
Okay. He likes Iron Man, the first Iron Man, I'm guessing. Or
I could see Favreau taking a lead role at Disney soon.
I can see that.
Just based off the strength of starting the MCU with a solid movie.
I can see him being in charge of Star Wars.
Mandalorian.
Yeah. And Ahsoka is coming out soon. But what do you say? I can't back you up when you're talking about Eternals, though. It is what it is, man. I get it.
All right, we got to these. They want elaborations on the Eternals pick. I think he described it pretty well.
Eternals.
I think they want you to cape up for it.
Okay. Eternals is not your typical MCU film. It has
I agree.
layers. It has character depth, which a lot of people said that they couldn't see the character depth, but there are so many layers to these characters, and so much emotion about connecting with humanity, and it's very nuanced in that way. And I think people just did not really connect with the narrative, and they wanted to see like a Captain America film, or they wanted to see a film
Familiar
that
characters.
familiar characters and just things blowing up, and
Hmm.
fight scenes, fight sequences, and things like that. But I feel like this film was deeper than that. But a lot of people didn't see it that way, and that's okay.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Hey, Roger, if you're listening, I'm not going to put up that question because, you know, some people have not seen the film, so I don't want AJ to get into it. But if you're looking at the chat, AJ, you could see the question. Maybe you hit him up on IG later about it. This is what I was
Oh
talking about
yeah,
before with the collection battles. Some people are still saying that Ben should have won over Alex. I think
Ben
it is what
Buster.
it is.
Ben
You
Buster
know,
should have won
it's
over
kind of like
Alex.
it's kind of like
Well,
that fumble at the end of a football game or turnover.
I
It
didn't
just
even
happened in the
see.
moment.
I didn't even
You didn't
see
even
that
see it.
battle. I
Okay,
didn't even see that battle, so I wouldn't
then we move
even have
on.
known. But um, sometimes it doesn't seem fair. Like sometimes it really
Mm-mm.
doesn't seem fair because they will pick something that why would they pick that? But it's up to the chat. It does not matter.
Yeah,
What you think is the best film, or what packaging you like the most. It's about the chat. That's
yeah,
the bottom line. It
it's
might not
true.
seem fair, but that's just how it is. That's how those things go.
It's true. Um, I got a few more questions before we get to the five takes, so I'm just going to run
Okay.
through them. So as I
Cool.
mentioned before, I'm thinking of starting my own version of the 100 films I missed because it's not until I'm spending some time on Letterboxd and I'm like, yo, I never went back and watched that. I said I would.
Mhm.
So just for the people that don't know, what is it and what rules have you applied to your project? You know,
So the 100 films I miss project started in 2020, where I kind of sat down and looked at the films that I've seen, and then a lot of the films that I have not seen that have been suggested to me, that
hmm
have been critically acclaimed, that I've seen the poster for it, but just never, got around to seeing it. I like the poster, just never
right.
got around to seeing it. So I wrote down a list. I was like, okay, I'm gonna watch these movies. I'm gonna make this list. So I actually sit down and watch them because there was a point in time where I had a watch list, but I was not going to it. I wasn't, actually, I would watch The Office, like I've seen that so many times, but,
Yeah. Or
I would
watch it,
go back to
watch your
Parks and
YouTube
Rec to
subscriptions.
watch, yeah, going to, um, Napoleon Dynamite for the 5,000th time,
hmm
So I was like, okay, let me make this list, and I'm going to actually sit down, write reviews for them, and, kind of go through, the whole list. So
Yeah.
2020 was a success. Um, and actually, it started in 2021. I came up with the list in 2020. The actual me actually watching them and reviewing them started in 2021. 2021 was a success. I sat down, watched all the films, and reviewed them, and it was dope. 2022. Um, I wrote down the list, and I procrastinated really hard on the list. I was like, oh, I'll get them done. I'll get them
Yeah,
done. So the thing about the list is you actually have to go to the list and watch the movies. You have to be disciplined that way.
it's
But
true.
but yeah, like I've watched so many films that have been, suggested to me, as a film buff, you have to watch like a movie like Jaws. I had never seen Jaws, but
Right.
if you call yourself a film fan, you kind of, you gotta watch
Yeah.
Jaws.
You got to be familiar.
You got to be familiar with Jaws. And I know there's movies out there that are very, highly recommended, and if you're a film fan, you need to watch that not everybody has seen. So that's why I came up with this list. And I've been getting through some doozies, some films that I don't quite love, and then I've watched some bangers. So I do enjoy the 100 movies list, but I think I'm going to for the future, for my next ones, I'm not gonna put so much pressure on it to where I have to get them all done by the end of the year, because that's starts to feel like a chore a little bit. So I think in the future I will have my lists, but kind of go through periodically, kind of take my time with it, kind of, not put myself on so much of a limit or a deadline, for it.
What I
But yeah,
did was
that's my 100 movies list. That's what it's about.
what I did a few years ago was I made a decision to go through the American Film Institute's 100 Years, 100 Movies
Okay.
list. And I didn't care if I'd seen the movie, it was a favorite of mine, how many times I've seen Godfather, whatever. And I said, I'm just going to watch them all. And I gave myself 2.5 years to do it. So it was a part of this project, 101 Things in 1,001 Days. And I did that in the 1,001 days. And then I added the differences from the 10-year anniversary. So they updated the list 10 years later. But it got me to see things that I've never seen, like Triumph of the Will, which was a Nazi propaganda movie, or Birth of a Nation. 2 movies I would never touch. But then other staples, like you said, that people assume that you're into film reviews and criticism and all that stuff that you would know, like the back of your hand. But, in the back of your head, you're like, nah, I never seen that. Or I never see it in completion. So with that in mind, what's been the favorite watch that you've had so far?
Ooh, favorite 100 movies list watch.
Yeah.
I absolutely loved Requiem for a Dream.
Ooh,
And
tough watch.
it is a tough watch. And I haven't watched it since. I watched it, loved it, went out and bought it,
and never
haven't watched it again.
That's why
So
Lionsgate was like calling me, and I was like, nah, I ain't gonna watch it.
Every time I think about that movie, I say, I gotta watch that movie again. And I just never go back. I've probably said that maybe 10 times, and I just never go back and watch it because it is such a tough watch. But I enjoyed it so much when I watched it. I was like, yo, this movie is really, really good. It's sad. It's depressing. It's tough. But it's really good. So
all the way to the ending.
All the way to the ending. The ending is wild. But I really enjoyed Requiem for a Dream. So I might say that that's my number one
good call
of the lists.
Yeah. Roger's having fun in the chat. I've been on the battle so many times, never won.
Really?
It's all about the fun, man.
Yeah.
He wants
to do
he's trying to pull you back in. He's trying to pull you back in.
I might do like 12 hours.
12 is doable.
12. Yeah, 12 is doable.
Watch list. You better add one more movie to that list. Get off that number.
It's cursed.
Jared has 1,088. Y'all need to get some watching going.
Man.
I always recommend Chef to anybody who wants to see something new. It is a good movie.
Chef is great.
Yeah, something I wasn't expecting to enjoy that much.
I've been looking for Chef in the wild, and I cannot find it. I think I found it on DVD at Half Price Books, but I could not find the Blu-ray.
I've never seen the Blu-ray. Never seen the Blu-ray.
I might just need to pull the plug or pull the trigger and watch or get it off of Amazon. I just need to get it off Amazon.
But those two are good too. Pie and Black Swan. Black Swan I really liked.
I don't think I've ever heard of Pi.
Aronofsky, early film of his. I think it might have been his
Okay.
first one. Yeah,
Aronofsky.
good.
Okay.
Yeah,
And
good
Black
timing with the
Swan's
whale
another
coming out.
Aronofsky. Yeah.
Great horror film and anti-drug PSA. You got
Yeah.
that right.
Yeah.
Oh man, I love the reviews. As I was going down the list in the beginning, we were having fun with it, but you really do review a lot of stuff, like damn near everything, including Doritos.
Huh?
What is it? What is it about reviewing that you like the most?
Reviewing like films and
Anything.
anything.
What's the allure of the review?
One thing I love doing, one thing I love reviewing is snacks. I love reviewing snacks, and it doesn't have. I don't have the audience that enjoys watching that. So I struggle with, because I want to keep doing them, but I also don't get the views that I want or the interactions that I want for it. But I love doing it.
Yeah.
But as far as reviewing, anything, snacks, movies, TV, whatever, I just love relaying my thoughts. And when I can have a hot take, and when I can, relate to someone else that has the same thoughts, if it's a hot take or if it's just a, general thought that, a lot of people think, if I can relate with that with someone else, it's a great feeling, and I love, communicating and engaging with my audience. So that's one reason why I love reviewing. I don't do as many video reviews as I used to. I kind of veered away from that because it is kind of a saturated community with reviewing films and the way that I was doing it. So I kind of am starting to stick with, rankings and, doing my reviews on Instagram and things like that. And it's worked out a lot better for me.
You got me to download Serialize.
Yeah, Serialize helps me, stay in, keep all of my TV shows organized, what I've watched, what I thought about them and stuff like that, because sometimes I'm like, what did I think about that? I can't really remember. I watch a lot of stuff. So
especially as you go from episode to episode,
right. Exactly.
What did I think of Miss Marvel episode 3? Exactly. Just random. Can you please review a bottle of Hidden Valley Ranch?
That you might be onto something, Roger. You might be onto something. I know you're trolling, but you might be onto something.
Yeah, that's
I might do like a jalapeno ranch taste test or something. You never know. You never know.
I think the best thing that I like about your reviews is that you're not the only one in your house doing it. So how did you get Stacy into the reviewing game?
Yeah, so I was like,
shout out to Stacy, by the way.
Yeah, shout out to Stacy. And so one day I was just like, babe, I know you put some of your thoughts on Serialize and you put some of your thoughts on Letterboxd. Can I just screenshot them and put them on a profile that I made for us? She was like, sure, whatever, I don't care. So what I really been doing is just taking some of our thoughts of, what she's been watching, what I've been watching, and kind of put it on my AJ in Stacy Instagram page. And, it's been kind of fun doing that. And I think come 2023, we're going to have some videos together talking about films and things like that. And she actually was in a few of my reviews on my YouTube channel. I know we did a live stream discussing Stranger Things 4, and we did Stranger Things 3 as well when it came out. So whenever anything Stranger Things comes out, we'll do a video together talking about the episodes.
I was going to try to get her to do a guest question, but I'm like, I don't know which account she reads, which one he does. But I do have one more guest question. I got one more guest question for you.
Okay.
Hey guys, so my question is, what are 5 films that you do not understand the hype for at all? Like ones that everybody just hypes up and then you watch it and you're like, it's not that good.
Yo, that's my boy Luke. But
Luke Ponto.
my Luke Ponto. The reason why I kind of chuckled a little bit is because one of the movies that comes to mind is one of his favorite movies.
Ooh.
So
Which one?
I don't really get the hype for the Black Phone. I did not care for the Black Phone much.
I
And
think
people,
it was seeing Ethan Hawke in that role. I honestly, I think that was the long and short of it. It was people are so used to seeing him as a good guy. He's the dad. He's the protector in this movie, and now he's, the grabber.
Yes, the grabber. And I actually watched that movie with him. I rewatched it with him, and I was just like,
He wasn't feeling it.
Wasn't feeling it even the second time. So that's one of the films that people loved and praised, and I just didn't care for it. And that is the one film that comes to mind. I would have to think of 4 more. But do you have one off the top of your head that you know of that you don't really get the hype for?
I was saying that about X when I first saw it.
Okay.
I was
That's
like,
fair.
people are hyping this because it's A24, or people are hyping this because it's a Ty West movie, and he didn't put out something in a minute. And then I watched Pearl, and I was like, damn, I want to watch X again. It made me want to go back and watch X again.
So
and I was like,
did you watch
that's
X?
good writing.
Did you watch X after you watched Pearl?
I never went back and watched it again,
okay.
but I saw X first when it first came out earlier this year. I went to the theater to see Pearl, got the Blu-ray, but every time, like now, I'm like, I gotta watch X again. So that's good writing.
Pearl makes you feel that way. After you watch Pearl, you're like, I kind of want to watch X. I felt the same exact way. But the thing is, right before I watched Pearl, like before I went to the theaters to see Pearl, I watched X before that. So I was like, yeah, I'll give it a little time.
In your head.
It was very fresh, So I was like, I'll give it a little time. People
Roger
are
might have a point here.
hyping up because Jenna Ortega.
You might have a point there.
Yeah, you're right.
I said it was a combination of those things. A24, Ty West, Jenna Ortega.
Jenna Ortega, she's having a she's in the spotlight right now.
Yeah,
she's having a time, and after watching Wednesday, I can say that I'm a Jenna Ortega fan. Up until when I watched Wednesday, I was like, she's cool. I don't quite get the hype.
Yeah.
But after watching Wednesday, I was like, she did really good in that role, in my opinion. So, I can call myself a Jenna Ortega fan now.
I hear you.
I don't dislike anything that she's been in. I know some people didn't really care for the new Scream film. I really liked it. I liked her in it. What else has she been in this year? I feel like she's been in so much. X.
It feels like it.
In X.
Yeah.
There was another HBO Max film that she was in that I didn't see.
I'm picturing like the promotional thing that pops up on my screen, but I can't remember the name now.
Yeah. I can't remember the name of it either, but I'm gonna look it up actually.
Yeah.
But yeah, so another one, Roger might get upset with me for this one, is Elvis. I did not love Elvis, and a lot of people did. I felt that the film was a little messy. But
needed better editing.
Yeah, the editing kind of threw me off. Austin Butler's performance,
he was excellent,
phenomenal. I thought he was great, but everything else, I was just like,
the thing about that for me was I like Baz Luhrmann's type of spectacular kind of films, whether it's Romeo and Juliet, Moulin Rouge is my favorite from him. And somewhere in the middle of the movie, it stopped being a Baz Luhrmann film and just became like a biopic. And it lost that Baz feel and I'm like, yeah, I'm out of this now. It like took me out the movie.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. I can see that. I can see that.
all right, we could be here all night. We could be all here all night. So let's just do this. You ready for the 5 takes?
I'm ready.
All right, that's what I want to hear, my man. All right, so we're going to start with number 1. Name the film that made you fall in love with the movies.
Okay. When I saw this question, I had 2 films in mind because back in 2002, I watched a little film called Spider-Man. And
just a little independent film.
Just a little independent film named Spider-Man. And it opened my eyes to what films could be, what superheroes could be. I had never really got into superheroes before that. And I was like, yo, there are movies about superheroes like this. This is so cool, so I loved that film, and it's my number 1 film of all time now. I granted, I know that it's not a perfect film. I know that it's not, a cinematic masterpiece, but I love it. I love that film. And one of the main reasons is the nostalgia I have for it. And how it kind of opened my eyes to cinema, number 1, and superheroes, number 2.
Yeah.
If I didn't see that film, I probably wouldn't even be into Marvel or DC or anything like that. So yeah, that's one. But I have to say another one. I have to give credit to another one. Back in 2010, I saw another little, independent film called Inception. And yo, I did not even know. It is divisive.
Film.
It is divisive. But I will say, when I watched that movie, I did not know that there were movies that were made like this. So cerebral, so thought-provoking. I was like, yo, this is something like I've never seen before. Then I started, getting into other films, and it was kind of a gateway for me to get into other films, number 1, and Nolan, number 2. And, after watching some other Nolan films, yeah, they didn't really, live up to Inception for me.
Yeah.
But I loved them. And pretty much everything that Nolan has put out is a banger. So, and I'm excited for Oppenheimer too. Oppenheimer.
Yeah. I tell this story about Inception. I was at work and it was a Tuesday, and my friend knew that I would go after work to get movies, and he's like, "So what comes out today?" And I was like, this, that movie Inception. I never seen it. He's like, yo, you never seen Inception? You didn't see it in IMAX, blah, blah, blah. I was like, yeah, I missed it. I mean, I might check it out. He's like, go buy it right now. Even if you got $20, nothing more, go buy that right now. I was like,
I probably would have told you the same thing.
And he's like, put it this way. Buy it. If you don't like it, I will give you your money back. He was sincere about it.
Wow.
And he was right.
Yeah. It's a banger.
I went right to those special features afterwards to see how they did that whole thing with the room turning and all that.
Oh, man. Nolan, man. This man is wild.
We got some questions building up in the chat, but I'm going to come back to them, I promise. I just want to get through these 5. So number 2, name 5 of your favorite films.
5 of my favorite films. I did a 100 of my favorite films stream not too long ago. I think back in August.
Yep.
So I am going to read from that list. My top 5. Number 5, Encanto. I absolutely love Encanto. I know that it's not for everyone. I love it. Number 4, Inception. Number 3, Lord of the Rings, The Fellowship of the Ring. The reason why the other two aren't there are because I really love this. I love the beginning. I love the first film because all of them, everybody's together. It is truly the Fellowship of the Ring, and we're heading off to this excursion, and I love that film. So number 3 is Lord of the Rings: Fellowship of the Ring. Number 2 is Quentin Tarantino's Kill Bill Volume 1, and number 1 is Spider-Man.
There you go.
That's my top 5 films of all time.
There you go. Michael was asking, so AJ, you prefer Spider-Man over Spider-Man 2?
Okay, about this. I get that a lot. I actually get that a lot. Spider-Man 2 is fantastic. I love Spider-Man 2, and I do believe that it is a better made film than the first Spider-Man. I acknowledge that technically it is a better made film. I still prefer the first one, mainly because of the nostalgia. I can admit it. It is mainly the nostalgia. It is the film that opened my eyes to superheroes and to cinema, period. So I can't quite say that I love Spider-Man 2 the most. And I don't even rewatch it as often as the first one. So I would have to say, Spider-Man 1 over Spider-Man 2. But technically, Spider-Man 2 is a superior film. Yeah.
I'm with you on Fellowship being the best of the trilogy.
I think it's the best of the trilogy.
We'll come back to those other comments. Number 3, everybody's favorite question, the one where people feel their subscriber count's going to go down.
Right.
Name a classic movie that everybody loves you can't stand.
This is one from my 100 movies list. It took me 3 tries to get through the entire film because I could not. I just had to keep turning it off. I was like, I don't like this movie, but it's on my 100 movies list, so I have to watch it. It is Gone with the Wind. I did not care for Gone with the Wind.
That's my answer.
I did not care for that film.
Like I always say, I appreciate the epic scale of the movie. It was the days of making epic films. But my aunt put the book in my hand. I read the book before I saw the movie. I saw the movie, and I wanted those hours of my life back. And I've since watched it a few other times. Just, my mom liked the film because, I don't know, the way they used to sell movies in the 50s and 60s was like, if something was on a grand scale, we're talking Lawrence of Arabia, we're talking Gone with the Wind, Sound of Music, it was like a must-see kind of event. So I think people like certain films from that time just because of, it wasn't like your 94-minute screwball comedy. It was like something they knew took like big, production and art direction and, so, but yeah, that's my answer too. Let's flip it. Number 4, name a critically hated movie that you love.
Critically hated film that I love. I thought about this question for a while, and I was looking into it, and I was like, I don't have that many critically hated films that I love, but I do have some films that not a lot of people care for that I love. And the number 1 film that came to mind, well, we already talked about Eternals. I love that film, and not a lot of people love it. But another movie that I thought of before the stream was Birds of Prey. I love Birds of Prey. It is extremely rewatchable for me. I've watched it probably 11 times. Yeah, it's a comfort film for me. But whenever I talk about that movie with anyone, like, are you crazy? That movie is terrible. It's awful. It's, and I'm like, that's me. I mean, hey, I can't explain it. I love it.
Right.
And I love Margot Robbie in the role, even though we probably are not going to get her in that role anymore.
Yeah.
You know, with all this stuff going on.
Yeah.
But
What do you feel
people,
about the announcements coming out next month?
I've been saying this a lot on my Instagram, is I've since these, you know, rumors and a lot of these announcements have been coming out about the DCU, about how projects are getting erased, people are getting recast. Henry Cavill's not going to be Superman anymore. There's just like a lot of buzz going around, and it was kind of a wave of emotions because I did get upset, you know, about a lot of things. I wanted Cavill as Superman. I wanted a Man of Steel too, you know.
Yeah. That was Emmett's
And
question.
it was devastating. It was sad to me.
Yeah.
But now that, you know, James Gunn has addressed, you know, look, he says, look, things are changing. I know people are going to be upset about it, but we are putting our heart and soul into these decisions. This is not being, you know, taken lightly. We're not doing things on a whim. We have a plan and we are, you know, set out to do it. And it's going to take time. Things are going to get worse before it gets better.
Yeah.
And he connected with the fans. So I really appreciated that. But personally, I don't really have that much stock in the franchise anymore. After hearing that some things were canceled, something I was really looking forward to was the Static Shock live action adaptation. I was looking forward to that.
I forgot about
And
that.
yeah, and now it doesn't seem like it's gonna happen. If it does happen, I would love that. But that's really the only thing I'm looking forward to anymore. The Flash, you know, I'm not, you know,
They messed it up for themselves.
yeah, it's just like the Flash, Shazam, the new Aquaman, like all these
You know that
projects that are coming out.
they're
All
gonna
these,
keep Old Boy as Aquaman.
yeah, like all these projects are coming out, but it just doesn't feel like they matter in the grand scheme of things. So it just makes me very uninterested in what's to come. Now, if, you know, they announce some things, I see some footage, I see, you know, things changing and I like what I see, then yeah, I could be persuaded. But as of now, I'm not really. I'm kind of done with the DCU right now. Like, I love some of those films. Like, I really enjoy BVS. I really enjoy Man of Steel. And I'm gonna watch those. And I'm gonna continue to watch those. I love the Batman. I'm gonna continue to watch those. I'm gonna continue to cherish those films that we already have, and keep it moving. You know.
Yeah, it's true. I'm going back in the chat because I skipped over a few I wanted to bring up. Yes, Elvis was fiction.
Pretend to be
I feel bad for anyone who took that as fact because it takes like 5 minutes on Wikipedia to know what was fact from fiction. But you're right. Yes, Memento, great movie in reverse or forward, and I say it that way for a reason. Interstellar, I saw it at a midnight release, and Lord help me, I could not stay awake. So I bought the 4K because I know it was a great movie. So it's definitely going to get a rewatch.
Oh, so you haven't seen it since the theater experience? Wow. Yes, Interstellar. I enjoy Interstellar. I like it a lot. I can't say it's better than Inception though for me.
I wanted to see it again on 4K, so I waited till I finally got the 4K.
Yeah.
Loved Inception, but made less sense. The thing I like about Inception is I could watch it again, you know, or watch it with someone for the first time, and it's a conversation piece. As the credits are rolling, we are having a conversation.
Right.
It doesn't matter.
Exactly.
And you see things each time. That's what I like.
I would say I enjoyed it more on the second watch because
I picked up more things.
Yes, I noticed more things about the film the second time around, and so on and so forth.
There you go. Sad and devastated by Henry Cavill.
Yeah, and it seems like I guess he quit being the Witcher to be Superman, and now he's
Superman.
not
Yeah.
Superman anymore. So
And
now
he's
I
The
don't know what he's
Witcher.
doing.
Yeah.
Now he's not going back to being the Witcher
Mm-mm.
either. So
Nope.
he's I don't know. I
Something
don't
new
know
will
what
be
he's doing.
waiting for
Yeah, he'll
him.
be doing something. Yeah.
Mm. Facts. And age
Yeah.
too.
Yeah. Yeah.
Racial and chronological lines. Yes, for sure.
Mhm.
I don't think Birds of Prey is hated.
From
I
the
don't
folks
know.
I've talked to, from the folks I've talked to, it is.
I don't go by this, but I always use it as a reference. Let's see. Boom, boom, boom. Huh. 79 on the Rotten Tomatoes.
Okay, that's
Go for
not
it.
that's not terrible critically,
Mm-hmm.
but I from my circle, the people in my circle, and who I've talked to,
Yeah.
yeah, they don't care for it, and they make it known.
On the other side,
Right. Yes,
uh,
Birds of Prey.
Sir James Brown declares, Gone with the Wind is great. It's not for this generation. That's a good point. I always try to take movies that I'm watching in context of when it was made.
Hmm.
So, you know, I was having an earlier conversation with Ryan about movies like Black Christmas and Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Early 70s movies, horror movies were much more shocking because people didn't really have that in the 60s. You know, of course, you had Psycho in the beginning, filmed in 59, made in 60, but most of 60 didn't have anything to that caliber of horror genre, so it hits harder.
Yeah,
That's for
yeah.
sure. Ben-Hur, another epic movie, for sure. For sure. Warhammer film. Henry is doing the Warhammer film.
Okay, yeah,
Hmm.
I think I heard that he was doing that.
Yeah. Still need to watch Birds. I liked it. It's fun. It's
Hmm.
it's fun, and it looks great on 4K. And I know you got the
I agree.
equipment, Trini, so check it out. Check
Yeah,
it
I
out on
agree.
4K. This has been fun, my man. I got one more question,
All
and
right.
that is number 5. Who would you like to see me have a conversation with on this channel?
Okay, okay. If you haven't already,
Mm-hmm.
Alex Thomas,
Had him
Alex,
already.
um, John Stewart, Smooth J Stew,
Had Jay
um,
Stu on. We
um,
could keep going.
Sean Chandler. I don't
No,
know. Yeah, I don't know if
unfamiliar.
you've. Yeah, he's a pretty well known YouTuber that talks movies and things of the sort. And
Yeah.
I am actually doing a segment similar to this on my
Mm-hmm.
channel in the new year, and I'm going to be sitting down with YouTubers, and hopefully I can have yourself on the
Oh
channel
yeah,
and
no
ask
doubt.
you certain questions like this.
Yeah, yeah.
And
I'd love to.
but yeah, so I am looking to have Sean Chandler on my channel as well.
Mm-hmm.
So I think if you reach out to him or check out his content, that would
Yeah.
be another guest that would be awesome to have on here.
Does his channel have a certain name, or is just his name?
I think it's just Sean Chandler,
Okay,
SEAN
cool. I
Chandler.
will check it out, and I will say AJ sent me. Yeah. What I've decided to do is for the month of February. I'm
Hmm.
gonna skip over January because I already got some people scheduled. But for
Hmm.
February, kind of like what we're doing right here with the 5 takes, I'm just
Hmm.
gonna have a whole bunch of people on and do the 5 takes. That way, it could be somebody I know well, it could be somebody I know not so well, and
Hmm.
we could still rock out because everybody loves movies, and we could
Right,
answer these 5 questions whether you got IG, YouTube, or nothing at all. So
right,
if you
right.
love movies, we're gonna have you on.
Dope.
Sean Chandler has a large following, does lots of rankings. Sean Chandler talks about. Yeah, I'll check it out. I'm always looking for new content out there. That's for sure. But in the meanwhile, I want to thank you, sir, for your time. Thanks, Stacy, for the time to take away from a husband, that couple time. I
Mhm.
appreciate you coming on. Happy holidays. Anything
Yes.
you want to
You too.
promote, say? Tell the people how to find you.
Yeah, man. KB, thank you once again for having me on the channel. I am AJ of AJReacts2, and I will be back on YouTube in the new year. So January 1st, look for a new video from AJReacts2. I am going to be doing a lot more reactions to trailers, to films that I haven't seen. I'm thinking about doing a Rocky series. I have not seen a single Rocky film. So yeah, I'm look forward to that. And stay tuned for that. Yeah, I'm going to continue to release reviews for my 100 movies list for 2022 movies on my Instagram. So stay tuned for that as well. And my YouTube channel is AJReacts2. Come and find me. Hang out.
Yes, sir. So, yes, great stuff, Mr. Rigby. Thank you. Thank you, everyone in the chat, for hanging out and rocking with us. We appreciate you. Michael, great conversation. The other AJ, Adrian James, says great conversation. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
We're going to be back tomorrow, as I mentioned, with Eddie from Eddie's Films and stuff. So join us there. And like I always say, until next time, go watch a movie.